The digital publishing industry takes a big hit. The future just ain't what it used to be.
Over the course of the last month or so, we've seen a number of major digital media outlets dwindle down operations or close their doors completely. Vice News Tonight, MTV News, and the one we're talking about today.
Just in the last couple of minutes, we've learned BuzzFeed has decided to shut down its newsroom.
Yeah, Jose, this is no doubt a rough day for the news business.
So BuzzFeed News is gone, and it was big. More than 1,000 employees were part of a division that won a Pulitzer Prize in 2021 for coverage of China's internment of Uyghur Muslims. It also wrote an investigative series on R. Kelly's sexual misconduct that played a role in his conviction. What remains is just strictly BuzzFeed. A lot of the same kind of content it got famous for when it launched in 2006. Quizzes, listicles, cat videos, that kind of shareable viral content. And the reason we're talking about BuzzFeed now?
ChatGPT going to be writing polls and quizzes for viewers. We learned that from an email by publisher Jonah Peretti to staff.
Jonah Peretti, he's BuzzFeed's CEO, and he told staff just a few months ago that AI would only be writing some content. The surface level stuff that, we've all done to kill time. But just last week, Peretti seemed to change his tune. And here's why this is raising some eyebrows. Back in January, BuzzFeed CEO told CNN that the company wasn't planning to use AI to save money, and that it had no plans to, quote, spam out a bunch of SEO articles that are lower quality than what a journalist could do, but a tenth of the cost. Now, fast forward, last Thursday, the company's CEO said this: over the next few years, generative AI will replace the majority of static content. AI will lead to new formats that are more gamified, more personalized, and more interactive. Okay, so static content. It's a little ambiguous, but it's being taken to mean things like articles, documents, things you might see when you click through a link on a homepage. BuzzFeed's president, Marcella Martin, also said this: instead of generating 10 ideas in a minute, AI can generate hundreds of ideas in a second. Other companies are already using AI to pump out content. Business Insider, for example, uses ChatGPT in its newsroom, with the editor-in-chief saying to think of AI like a bicycle of the mind. So basically what he means is something that can help us speed up the way we think and work. And CNET, another US news site, started using AI to generate stories last year, although it then had to issue corrections for more than half of them. And then it put its use of AI on pause. BuzzFeed CEO says the company has always lived at the intersection of technology and creativity, but using AI to generate content raises some big questions, even as basic as where the AI gets its information, and whether audiences should be told that what they're reading was generated by AI. So we're gonna go back to the studio where we've asked someone to help us figure it all out. Okay, so to help us understand all of this, I'm joined by Maggie Harrison. She's a reporter with Futurism, a website which covers science and technology. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, nice to be here.
So tell me, how is BuzzFeed going to be using AI?
So BuzzFeed described their deployment of AI in a few different buckets. There's the general website. They say they're going to step away from static content. The majority, they said, of their static content, so fixed articles, listicles, what we understand BuzzFeed to generally have been producing for the past decade. Those will be replaced by something that's a bit more gamified, something that is interactive. The way that I see it, it's a little, it's very stimulating, very Cocomelon-ish, but just not for babies. And then on the editorial side, they say that they'll be using AI across two buckets is how they framed it. So there's a co-pilot encouraging their writers to use AI for a variety of uses while producing content. So using it to generate SEO headlines, bounce ideas off of it. That's kind of how they framed it, as a writing assistive tool. And then they said that they would use it also for the production of native advertisements. So, advertisements that are designed to look very much like regular run-of-the-mill content, and fit seamlessly throughout the rest of the site's editorial content or non-static content. Whatever that content looks like for BuzzFeed now, advertisements will be built seamlessly through generative AI that will be, they say, informed by a lot of data from their readers and from their consumers. And then using that to, how they frame it, create hyper-personalized advertisements, often through demographic information.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit more? Like, what are they going to be looking for and aiming towards there?
So they spoke a lot about using AI tools to generate what they call authentic content aimed at certain racial and ethnic groups, especially. The data from BuzzFeed feeds the AI tool, and it allows advertisers to be able to more authentically target different demographic groups, whether race, et cetera. They spoke a lot about race in the presentation, which it's really interesting because AI has never been in a human body before, and anything that they can say about the experience of being any human being, it's an interesting way to frame authentic, and it's certainly a new world of advertising.
So, like, big picture here, what does this mean for an audience?
We try not to be like fear mongers, right? But at the same time, there are two instances of information getting very crossed in AI wires that stand out to me, where we've already had a moment where Bard and Microsoft's Bing AI were ping-ponging misinformation back to each other that all started from a joke tweet that any human would have been able to see and understood the nuance of, but these bots didn't, and they came to the wrong conclusion and then shared that wrong conclusion with each other. That felt very important. That was a very striking, we called it a neural hall of mirrors at Futurism. And there's another moment that we reported on recently where Google's existing algorithm. So on one hand, it's these new algorithms that we're trusting to both create and deliver information. Then our existing algorithms might not be prepared to deal with what might be a lot of AI generated content forthcoming in the short term and in the long term. So, a few weeks ago, we reported that Google, it's just regular search algorithm, had promoted this piece of material had great SEO and somehow made its way to Google's top featured image. And Google featured this picture as, one of Edward Hopper, the American painter, one of his works. And it was not his work. It was an AI generated image that was on sale for however many dollars on a third-party website. Right now, we have to rely on a lot of due diligence, be that on, the person creating a piece of AI content, marking it as such, while also we need to definitely be relying on publications to, if they are promoting or putting out AI content, they should mark it as such as well. So I think right now there's a lot of honor code that we need to rely on, but I think for readers of news, media literacy is really important always. Right now it really matters. So be really watching where the news is coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, there's a lot to consider there. Maggie Harrison, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.